What is going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut, and today we're going to look at the 2007 NHL draft pick swap that was between the San Jose Sharks and the St. Louis Blues that would eventually lead to the selection of Logan Couture. So this trade was between the San Jose Sharks, who would get the 9th overall selection from St. Louis, and, of course, the St. Louis Blues, who would get the 13th and 44th selections, as well as a 2008 third-round pick. So how did this trade work out? We will start with the Sharks, whom, with the 9th overall pick, would select center Logan Couture. So Couture himself has a quiet debut year. I say debut year because he only played a handful of games, so it wasn't really a real rookie year. Now, the next year, which was his rookie year, saw him score 32 goals and 24 assists. So this was obviously a very strong rookie campaign that saw him as a finalist for the Calder Trophy, which he unfortunately did not win. Now, he has a strong second year in the league, and then his third year is the lockout-shortened 2012-13 season, where he would still score 21 goals. So he's clearly a decent player. Now, unfortunately, a wrist injury would slow him down for his next year, but he bounced back nicely in the 2014-15 campaign, recording 27 goals with 40 assists. Now, injuries hit him again in the 2015-16 campaign, as he would miss 30 games due to a broken leg, but he still had a solid season, scoring 15 goals along with 21 assists. Now, he really made his name known in the playoffs that year, where he would score 10 goals to go along with 20 assists. This made him more of a recognized name through with casual NHL fans. Now, he has a good year in the 2016-17 season, and an even better year in the 17-18 season, recording 34 goals with 27 assists. Now, the 2018-19 season saw him set a career high with 70 points, as he would record 27 goals with 43 assists. Now, he gets named the captain of the Sharks prior to the 2019-2020 campaign, and he has a solid year despite the fact that the Sharks themselves had a rotten year that year. And he's been good so far in the 2021 campaign. So that's what the Sharks got. What did the Blues get? So the Blues would use the 13th pick on center Lars Eller. So Lars Eller would spend 1 year in the AHL, and then he spent most of the second year in the AHL, where he would play well, and this saw him get called up to the Blues, where he would play in 7 games, and he would score 2 goals. Now, he ends up getting traded, but before we follow that, we're going to discuss the 2008 third-round pick, which would be the 87th pick. Now, that was used on right wing Ian Schultz, and Schultz himself was also traded before playing for the organization. So the two of them were traded to the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for goaltender Jaroslav Halak. So Halak himself he gets in this weird position where he's like a shared starter with Brian Elliott. So he gets, about half the starts in the 2010-11 campaign from then on out, and he does decent. He does decent is the best way to put it. And he improved slightly in the 2011-12 campaign, and he's still the the lesser end of the shared starter job, but he still gets a good amount of 30-plus starts. Now, the two of them, Elliott and Halak, end up doing so well that they end up winning the William M. Jennings Trophy, which is, of course, a trophy that's awarded to the team with the fewest goals allowed on the season. Now, Halak ends up falling to the backup role in the 2012-13 season as Elliott was playing better, and he did slightly struggle. Now, he ends up rebounding a bit in the 2013-14 season, but he gets traded midway through it to the Buffalo Sabres, along with a bunch of other stuff, which we will get to shortly, in exchange for goaltender Ryan Miller and center Steve Ott. So, Ryan Miller himself, he has a decent half year in St. Louis before the Blues decide, you know what, we're happy with Brian Elliott, we like Jake Allen, we're going to let you go, we don't want to spend the money on you. And center Steve Ott just did not do well in St. Louis. So, Ott really just struggled. That's the best way to put it. In December of 2015, he would tear his hamstring, which ended his season early. Now, early December, you should be doing pretty good, right? Well, he wasn't. He only had 2 assists, and he didn't have a single goal. So, Ott no. He would walk after the 2015-16 campaign. Now, he played 122 games for St. Louis. He only managed 3 goals and 14 assists, mostly as a third, fourth line player. Obviously, there was concerns there. Now, back up to the original trade, the Blues would use the 44th selection on right wing Aaron Palusha. So Palusha would spend 1 year in the AHL before getting traded to Drumroll please. The Montreal Canadiens. In other words, the Canadiens got all three players that the Blues would draft during the original Logan Couture trade. Just interesting fact there. So Montreal would get him. In exchange, St. Louis would get right wing Matt D'Agostino. So he ends up doing basically nothing in his first half year. He has a solid 2010-11 campaign that saw him record 21 goals along with 25 assists. So decent. Now, his productivity would dip in the 2011-2012 campaign, and he gets traded midway through the 2012-13 campaign after clearly falling out of favor with the St. Louis Blues. So, St. Louis would trade him to the New Jersey Devils along with a 2015 7th-round pick in exchange for a 2015 5th-round pick. That pick would become the 127th pick, and it was used on defenseman Niko Mikkola. So, Niko Mikkola himself has been decent. He's been the 6th or 7th defenseman in St. Louis ever since the end of the 2019-2020 season. So he plays a bit, but he's also a healthy scratch time and time again. So that's St. Louis. How did the other teams do? We're going to start with the Montreal Canadiens. So center Lars Eller, he had an okay first year in Montreal, recording 17 points over 77 games. Now, he would improve in the 2011-12 campaign as his ice time would increase, scoring 16 goals. He would record 8 goals and 22 assists over the lockout-shortened 2012-13 campaign. Now, he would take a big hit in the playoffs that year that gave him a concussion, dental fractures, and facial fractures. Clearly, it was a big hit. So he has an average year in the 2013-14 campaign. Now, he would score 15 goals in the 14-15 campaign, and then he followed that up with a 13-goal, 13-assist, 15-16 season. Now, he ends up getting traded away after that. We're not going to follow that trade. Right wing Ian Schultz, he ends up spending 3 years in the AHL for the team before walking. Lastly, we have right wing Aaron Palusha, and Palusha, he would bounce between the NHL and the AHL for 3 years before he was waived. Now, let's quickly get the New Jersey Devils out of the way. So they got right wing Matt D'Agostino. I really apologize for mispronouncing his name. I know I did. And he did nothing. He gets released after 13 unproductive games for the team, scoring 2 goals with 2 assists. And that 2015 7th-round pick would become the 206th pick, and it gets traded away. We are not going to discuss that today. So now we have the Buffalo Sabres. And the Sabres get a good amount of stuff here. So we're going to discuss the players that they get. So they get goaltender Yaroslav Halak, right wing Chris Stewart, and left wing William Carrier, as well as 2 draft picks. So goaltender Yaroslav Halak ends up getting traded away before even playing a game for them or their AHL affiliate, so nothing with him. Right wing Chris Stewart, he does decent. So he appears in 66 games over parts of 2 seasons, recording 11 goals and 14 assists before he himself gets traded away. Lastly, we have left wing William Carrier. Now, Carrier is an okay 4th-line player for a single year before he gets left exposed during the 2017 expansion draft and picked by the Vegas Golden Knights. So next we have the 2015 first-round pick, which would be the 25th overall pick. This pick gets traded away, and it's going to be discussed in a future video discussing the Evander Kane trade, so keep an eye out for that. The link will be in the description below once it's uploaded. Lastly, that 2016 third-round pick they would get would become the 89th pick, and it gets traded away. We will not be discussing this trade. But basically, this was the Logan Couture trade. I really do apologize for mispronouncing this gentleman's name. I really apologize for that. D'Agostino, I just really apologize for that. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a good rest of your day.